I was brought up in a village, like, in the Ashanti region, Agogo, in Ashanti region. It was quite not a big population, but we had farms and villages that we would go to when I was a child. And that was where I discovered, myself, and I discovered that I had a talent to sing. It was quite, an unusual, childhood, not too dramatic, not too much drama, but I quite remember that Ofori Amponsah started, just writing music, mimicking Michael Jackson and, the big stars. Around 1984, I was around 6 years or 5 years. So Ofori Amponsah, yeah, we in 1974, 2nd March. Right now, me but me kai my childhood, and I said me in Kuala Brim. I started early, recording and then singing and mimicking great singers, such as Michael Jackson. In fact, my mama was a teacher, so her influence on my life a big great. My papa also was somebody who was very strict. A friend of mine, Georgina Ofori, and my papa also J.K. Ofori. I think so. What I took from them as a child, especially my father, was being on time, waking up early, sleeping early, and my mom. So what I got from her was reading books and stuff, which I think they influenced me writing of music. The very first book I'm a kind of friend Cinderella. I went to my mom's school, or child there, so me call her me book, I thought it was interesting, quite interesting. Me shared drawing in there. I didn't know much about books at that very early stage, but me far book now. That was the first time I started even reading from the book. So my first reading, the book that I read first was Cinderella, due to me mommy her influence. Now I call after school vacation, we'll go to a village, like a farm. My father had a farm, so most of the time, instead of people say encrophobia or back crab, I had to go on the farm, and that was where my music and everything shot up. That was when I was musically aware, say I had the gift to to sing. So I would sit down under a tree, my packing kolani, my shishin to a konko near there. Then I might say that me a drummer, I'm playing a drum, and I'll be singing. One day, as I was under a tree singing, a guy came behind me. Me quite a meaning, but a friend Marcus, Ojinamechi, and I met to say, and you say fresh, cool in the gun. That time when I was a kid, conversation is going round. People talking about the girls who came to town, lovely ladies. As I was singing, so I just looked back, and there was this man, a Rastafarian, standing there. He said, "Charlie Ofori," and so he came closer and said, "How many years are you?" And I'm saying, "Me, I think that time I was about 8 or something." And I said, "Do you know what you have?" And I say, "I don't know." I said, "Your voice was so far away, and I thought say a Penibi voice, but I came closer and I saw say, hey, you are a kid. Do you know what you have?" I said, "No, you are a star." I said, "Wow." So I did, come to the house and call the fee. When I went to the house and I continued to go to his house, I think my mommy wasn't so happy, only Rastafarian, and then yes, what shit we cry. I should also be shit be near there. But I was so interested in what he was teaching me. I went to him, pick a guitar, and then he would tell me to just create. I said, I can't create anything. He said, just concentrate and create something. What is inside you? What do you want to say? What do you want to talk about? So, me kono ho time I say for menko, then I'll round to him a bebo guitar. And then one day I say, oh, many baby, something just came, you know, say then, and you my friend Liberty. You know, that time now the Rastafarian system, you know, very hot in Ghana. Afa Blondie, no more Ahete, any other. So I wrote that first song, Liberty, when I was about like 12 years. You know, in fact, from 8, 9, 10, 11, no, now every day, you know, I'll go to him, I'll just like study how to write songs and stuff. And so my first ever song that I wrote, Village Hall, was this Liberty song. And I don't actually remember the lyrics now, you know, but you know, it was my first attempt at writing a song. So I think Sir Marcus was a very great influence on my life when it comes to music, because he made me aware. He told me literature when you know, I got to your friend say secondary school. He told me to pursue literature because he thinks that I have a gift of, you know, music and writing and stuff. Because every day as a kid, I'll just like pick my book and be writing, and you know, so that was how my childhood was. Brim said, yeah. I quite remember say I would just like walk sometimes 20 miles to get to the next town, and everywhere be Ofori Amponsah will be, you know, this guy will be either like singing or just writing. One day, you know, after doing my demos, I'll just like go into a room, I'll do a demo, go into the room, and I'll be singing. And as I was, you know, dancing to one of the songs I'm actually friend Odo Ankasa Ankasa. So I was like, Odo Ankasa Ankasa na me woman, and my sister Simujina, you are not almost me, and they'll be looking at me and they'll be laughing. And so I'm saying, now what being says our song we are actually can compete one day, compete with the big artists. And then it just like fell into my spirit and no, then I have to do music every day, up to. So I started listening to Kojo Mchi, Daddy Lumba. Daddy Lumba was like that time, nothing was fresh. I think it's in 1989. I was in primary school, still in primary school at that time. So that I started listening to Daddy Lumba and Kojo Mchi, and then Amachi. They did the best. Those times, you know, they were the best around. So that was how I you know, started doing thinking about Highlife music. But I started with, you know, reggae, liberty and stuff. So it's quite interesting. And my time I'm in secondary school, so you know, trying to, you know, bring my music, you know. One day my mama sending me sika as I go to my fees and I kind of say my registration, and we drew Konongo. I was so much into my music, thinking I was just dreaming. Say one day Nakamanyeska, the first place I would just go is the studio, and me free Agogo Konongo was about 15-minute drive, and the dream and my dream and I say me denyeska. So me free car no see station where then I saw a man, a little guy, and last week send a boy was 35 minus 5 as almost 30. The following week send a boy almost 30. Then I started dreaming, see Charlie, I come and do to record. I mean a childhood, you know, a year na me dream, but little guy, you know, instead of me this kind of back school, no, I just took it to him and said, Charlie, double this money for me so that I can, you know, it was a stupid idea. And then beside this kind of half, echo recording. You won't believe it. Loto Nambo recording and so was in the room. Now me have my in a way say, Scout, there's mom say, me fan coach school fees. I'll just go to a studio, a church studio, people playing live band and say record for me. So my first experience of music came around 2002. No, no, 1992. Like 1992 was the first time I recorded with a band, a church band. And I recorded Odom Refie. Like that was my first ever demo. You know, Odom Refie, Odom Refie, Odom Refie, Jim Many. So that was something about my childhood. I was so stubborn, you know. I don't know, that music made journey free school. Made journey free school on a Friday, piano. Omu yi either some Michael Jackson and that's omu yi Tina Turner and now omu yi. So Friday, me say me back school. Monday I bebo me, but I will just run. I'll just run, go to the place, listen to the music, see how they are dancing and stuff. I think that was also a very big influence on my career because I started listening to powerful voices, you know, Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, Commodores. I listened to everything, and that was how, you know, I grew up. My childhood was like, this was the guy. This is what I wanted to do. I was 8 and 9 and 11, but this was what I started doing, writing my music and stuff. Yeah. Ofori Amponsah by Accra quite early, 1984. I was in class 4. Me make a funny thing with him. Catch him say, me class because me na media class no media Becca 3 na marry when I started class 1. So class 4, class 3, I started improving. And so class 4, and I promised him, say, meet me edit 1 to 6, or the me back. And so my position for that class 4 was 6 years. So 1984, and you know, me back for the first time. I went to Harrow International for some time, and then St. Lawrence in you know, around Abeka. So I went there for like maybe 2 or 3 years, and then went back to Agogo. When I'm a common entrance. Unfortunately, me I never had say so. Me Agogo, and so I got into Cornwood Massey Secondary School. So I go to Cornwood Massey Secondary School. I now all the drama started. I want Ofori Amponsah. You know, when I got to Form 3, I just told my mom, said, Unim, I've had this, you know, enough of this education. Form 3 is enough. I can write, I can read, I can do anything. So the next thing is to pursue my music. So he had to send me to Amachi Dede, you know. And so Amachi was also an advisor. He advised me to finish school, and then after school, he will see what he can do for me. In school, Ofori Amponsah was entertainment. Everything I do was entertainment. So, me do English class, mathematics, I won't go. Entertainment, I will be there, you know. So, even me say my O level. O level, they could results. No. Students na almost school say Ofori Amponsah bejo rap, Ofori Amponsah bejo music, you know, because everybody thought say like I'm a failure, like I'll fail. But you know, now me this thing I read a lot. I read books a lot. So I think say and then a boy me O level enipa 24 no. Ofori Amponsah I can't be a NIPA 24 year 1 out of 200 and something students. So I got a scholarship to 6th form. And so, but that time, you know, now because I may lose a bit of my love for education, kakra, I was so much into the music. I was so much every day into the music. I'll be writing. I quite remember I'll be sitting now in a dining hall. Instead of reading a book, I'll just be writing. One day, girl be a nice girl. I'm a very shy guy. I couldn't even talk to a girl. So all my thing was writing music. So this girl comes in and school. I said, what are you writing? Are you writing something? I'm so just music. I said, really? So I catch that conversation. Busa and say friend Jane. Or I'm then oh Jenny. Oh don't insara ho to me kumonipa. That was that girl. So that girl came in and said like, hey, if you're a writer and a musician, Charlie, put all your mind and your heart to it, and then you can make it. But I didn't even know that time I have to put my heart and my mind to something. So she was my best friend in school. Jane became my best friend in school. And as we were, every day going to the dining hall, studying together, and the name a friend teacher be Odenchem in the school. Odenchem, so I don't know, so Odenchem interested in Jane or whatever was going on. But sometimes he would just like come to the room and say, for example, say, me you with you. I thought it was like a joke, One day, I came back from school to Accra because that time na audition be in Accra. I think it's Showtime. It was called Showtime, and Showtime that time, Showtime. So when I see Kwame Sefakan, the first time I met Kwame Sefakan was at the audition because it would be an opportunity to shine. So I went there and I sang my song, Jane. Jane was my song, so I sang Jane. But unfortunately, one family, you can't say audition. But girl be a meme boy, a friend is Selena Owens. So Selena no more selected to sing at the National Theatre. Fine. So I had to back her. Into me journey free school now, me back here now. TV no omo any. But that time now I'm share Daddy Lumba. And within 2 weeks, Daddy Lumba gave me a contract. The story of Daddy Lumba will come later. But he gave me a contract and I ran away from school to record the songs. That time I'm very recording, that was the time they showed that audition on GTV. And GTV was big. Everybody was watching the GTV. Unfortunately, that day was a Saturday. Entertainment prefect was not there. They had to watch TV. Camera problem, yeah. So I was the entertainment prefect, and I wasn't there to do a program, so they had to watch TV. And you saw TV now. Entertainment prefect, regional TV, so singing. School hall, hey, you did, yeah, superstar, yeah. So school, everybody was shouting. So the headmaster came out from the residence to ask her, commotion ben there. Because I'm saying tapi about TV, so why need tapi? Ofori Amponsah, and I was so quiet. Headmaster didn't know anything about me, like in the school. Even though I was the entertainment prefect, he didn't know. So where is Ofori Amponsah? Ofori Amponsah is out of the school. Okubusa house, senior house master. Ofori Amponsah J X yet no fear na. I see your name because you be school is just 2 weeks, so your ma X yet 2 weeks. Then that's my journey, It's not to say sending me message or then sending me message, Say send catch us me you edi. And you say, oh, but the packet no man either. When my mama so a teacher ni had to beg the headmaster, Eddie, the pacho, I call it why bonnet. This is the first time. Headmaster no, FM I say, Papa we friend or bebo concert. Uncle feel on combo concert. Mr. Amponsah, I don't know, like maybe but I thank you so much because like you gave me the power, you pushed me on. That time was a terrible time for me, but I didn't know, say, you were prophesying on me, So Ofori Amponsah became the concert man today. So that's, part of me school, Obianim Ofori Amponsah for, the music, the rap. In fact, I started rapping in school, It wasn't music. In school, rap became the norm, That time then OPP, I can explain, that time they hate it. So everything was rap. It wasn't like actually singing. So one day we had a competition in school, and the competition was like a rap competition. So the entertainment prefect I was the main man behind the whole thing. and then we be a rapper, we rap our uncle, we rap our uncle. So now I come in, guy, my friend is Swazi B. So we were there, Charlie. Now, me did me rap scene. Yo, this your man, Mr. All for real. You know that kind of rap. But at there, me realize it back when I said, Swazi B, Ebano. Instead of like, very rapper to say me, OPP near there, I don't know. The guy started rapping in G. Odo you, Makuma Mutofe, only when he now pay a day now. Ah, the guy just the lyrics now, one day bano. I was like, after school, yeah. You know, said that's the day I may stop a rap music. Because I actually knew rap music was not for me. So Swazi B, so baby, I will be as Swazi B was a man. Or my imagine band said, no, they have to keep on writing, you know, songs. Like, I have to sing rather than rap. So that day, I just changed my mind because the fans now couldn't see what stage, you know, that day, you know, or killing stage, you know. So, I mean, that was my school, my secondary school days, what I was doing. Ofori Amponsah was music. I would just like, you know, be into the music. But I'll come back a bit as to who Ofori Amponsah is. I never give up. I would just like walk time now. Me hear me demo where headmaster say where you may do. I'll just take my demo. I wasn't doing anything. Just walk around for somebody to just listen to me, to my songs. I'll go around and my daily routine. I cry there my daily routine. Make me a coffee. Abeka. Ako. You can't say. I cry. It's a normal day for me. Anywhere be a person Ofori Amponsah and run it to, I'll just go. I'll walk around. Me sorry, no panami did you. I'll walk around. Try. Say me who say, yeah, trouble maybe to say, you kind of say music store. I'll just come in, just go inside. Ask Charlie, I have this music. Oh, just listen. Some people will listen. They will just tell me, oh, maybe go to Unimit or somebody else. I had the opportunity, you know, when I didn't see with my headmaster and I was out of school for a time. I got time to take my music around. So one day, me will pass or around, walking around, trying to find something. Me need that swing in answer. Because every day I just like pick my demo and just walk out. Then me call me who said music, ya show baby music store. Na me rem. To be rem na me de me demo man. Chabe. Person bought me demo here now na so bit me will be over me. And the guy listened to the songs. Or tisa also when I told you say I say Charlie, this is a powerful song. Unim, fako Daddy Lumba ho. Daddy Lumba, I'm saying, I can't Daddy Lumba. I say, oh, Daddy Lumba, I say Daddy Lumba ba or boy, young guys. So you can try your luck there. So me share me button me coins na me say me coins no. I short kakra for the day. So I calculated my coins and so me called down. So I took my song there, knocked on the door, and gave my demo to the guy. No, see Daddy Lumba ba obeti. So the following day, early in the morning, I just went there, sat behind the gate. I was waiting. Behind the gate, there was this guy out. Hey, now Ofori Amponsah also don't know more say. And I'm saying, I don't know me the bat or Charlie. Baby fa, Papa we omo boy. So he was just shouting. Oh, did he attend me that day? We Lumba until we want. We Lumba to family cassette man me for. I'm coming go busy and say Charlie. Edebe na that Lumba na yo. What Jimmy cassette? Na also do there bana. Charlie baby fa. Share omo. Na me jam na be share ni. So me share ni for some time na you didn't cassette here there. Bread. And okay na it was say why no for Amponsah. I'm saying yeah. So that Lumba so home. So I went inside. Na oyi like obi baba na like immediately one kasa who me one kasa. I'm saying, Charlie papa you my enemy be I was me back. No right inside. So he right inside. Now imagine say obi a year baba a day a year can say scissors no catch say Charlie train I'm coming. right inside, he comes out with an envelope. 5 million. Hey, Charlie, 5 million Ghana. That time, 5 million, kind of 5 million. So like a 500 Ghana cedi. Those times. Oh, dear, mommy. Because that time, mommy, and dollar cry was like 30, imagine 30 cedi. So, obi man 500, amount be $3,000. Hand me say, me demos. I am a star. He just looked at me, said, get this, Koe demos, you are a star. You become like me. I'm like, what is this? Obi a man bread 3 years. Me demo cheese. Is it? Eh, bra. Me free wa. Just say, and I say, kona koe nyom fufro bra. I'll produce you. Also, the last thing, me ba Ghana has say, me tie and I wanted something. I wanted a voice, and I think say you have a different voice. So I went out. We could have 3,000 a year. We drew market to her. I say, hey, watch you because me say me I a star. I need a. So that was the story. But me need that Lumba shares, you know, and cost as smooth as people think. Me were under him for almost 6 years. Me doing in China 2 months in a truck contract. But it took 6 years for Ofori Amponsah to come out. So I went into the wilderness for 6 good years. But I'm somebody I never give up. All the time, if you any say, you know, I'll just go and sit. Say that Lumba and Pia, sometimes you'll be in there for 2 straight days, you will not come out. So me try a bana jube 11:30. 10:30, that's on P, and I said that day on P. I'll continue, I'll frequent there every day, about 6, and that's my work. I'll just go and sit until I meet him. You know. So, me call her, me opportunity to get closer to him. Now me name say, on also, or Shemi, you know. So, yeah, I'm quite anymore. If I say 19, so that was 93. I quite say na any that so be any misubi. Obi a do upper 6. You are going to the university. All of a sudden you UAD every school. Your music in inside you know. Any day, and bar wanting. The unfortunate thing that happened is that very year no you me different school na. And that Lumba say after you no cry on you be. Or Jai production because Obi a in the Bibiama, you know after Jai production. So that was the beginning of my wilderness. But still. I was friends with him. I'll go to him. Ofori Amponsah, he will call me. Say what? I'll go to his house. So me who said that no matter there or her, I'll just pick it up. I am a privilege because I me to not there. No, me said in no edit. He was looking at it, and one day, around 1999, something just like happened to me. If you believe something, you just believe. I just had this faith say my own wilderness in music I check because me recorded with that Lumba na I'm out no. Another producers found me and said Opeso or Boame like he recorded brand new songs. I have forgotten even the songs brand new songs, powerful songs, and I did it with him. And at that Babe releasing on radio, the guy got a problem here in Ghana. He was a timber merchant. So onya problem be with the police and everything. He had to run away to Canada with my music. I didn't hear from him again. You know, I had to go through one trial after another until say 1999. 1999, I just was working with my father that day. You know, things were so tough, so I had to run back to the village to my father's hometown. And my father was advising me. One day, I needed to come and I was recording, I have a recorder and I'm recording. I also can't sing my drink a bass. Obviously, I'm saying, Kwame, they say, then I'll pursue your life. So, Papa, I'm person go school still. because I feel say, you know, A level no me try, O level me try. I have the grades, so I want to go to school. No, saying then I had our church on. I say, oh, Papa, music. They say how much they did the NB. Me say, I said then I don't know how bad. For drain no come here there. That was it, and that was a great thing. And that was the second time I was hearing this, because in school Jane told me the same thing, and my dad told me the same thing. So I told myself, in 1999, I'll come out. I did my demo. You can say despite recording studios. You can say Peace FM. At that time they were bringing up Peace FM. So that's where I recorded my songs, and Theater, Domrefi, and all the songs. So that Lumba came from abroad, and Oba despite catching, they say, hey, Obana Saya Bahaber, when he is so powerful, come and listen. Ura studio or TNU. He had no choice but to sing. It will be a free airport to buy our brand. He had to sing on a song. The following day, I went there to hear that Lumba to me. So that was how we reconnected, and you know, the songs finally came out. Odomrefi, Jimmy. That was my first ever song that I wrote. And then and Theater. So that was the album I made, that Lumba. What was it? It was still a powerful album. It was a powerful album, and the songs now was the songs. Shemi Bobby. It was the same thing. Nothing changed. The same words, the same instrumentation. The only difference, and I think they improved a bit with recording in Bodos, Germany. We recorded it in Germany, so that was the only difference. But we did a very good job here, even in Ghana. Like there were times like I listened to the demo, and it was quite impressive. Yeah. You know, when I think said despite the influence now, despite about this song, sometimes me too and theater no. Oh ha no, I can say ahano antiate me waro baba no ne hu emi fu come on repeat it say you na e bon ade menti ade bi e bon ten like, so he would say it like we repeat it. So I think say he was because every day I was recording, he was in the studio listening to it. So I think say his influence was also very powerful at that time. Yeah, they and you by I think say the first day Ho Nkyerɛ sold about, I think say 80,000 copies for that day. So it was a very impressive. Almost 80,000 the following day. Not to say a giant count crowd, you know. So it was instant hit, and within if I say a month, and they can come be about 300,000 copies. So it was instant. Yeah. The only thing what that album, which in a year documentary, 20 years of these songs, and they said there was a bit of contracts, you know, changes and stuff, because when you didn't buy, you know, the idea was Ofori Amponsah, Daddy Lumba introducing Ofori Amponsah. Something that that time no crowd wouldn't say harm, because I felt that I was hiding behind this thing. Maybe the originator and the writer and the, you know, I produced most of the songs, and he was the executive producer. What I say, because I had to pay for the recordings and everything before I started taking it up to Germany. So I had everything done with my own money, with everything. So in the pictures now you try for the album, and yes, said the na me expectation, because I thought that this was my first album, was my music, all the 7 songs, and I said on it, it was 9 songs, yeah. So 9 songs, 7 songs were mine. Oh, and see when it comes to something I quite to say, me feel say, me I know to cry and man make me own first album was this problem. I loved working with Daddy Lumba, a great artist, one of the best. I salute him, but music it's like your own. You cannot run away from it. That one, he even knows. Say, when you do music, not music in here, you just hold on to it. It's like wawuba. You can't let it go. So that time, that was the only thing a man made me cast me. Then I'll just like do a solo career. Like I'll just try to go on solo. So and only the thing I mean, as a young man, I wanted to be seen. I wanted people to know, say, hey, Ofori Amponsah, I wanted people to also recognize me, So, and that Lumba is the greatest when it comes to. You can't be behind the greatest and pop up. So I had to just divert and find my own way. So I think Emma. Maybe it was youthful exuberance. I wanted to also come out, for people to know, say this or that. Yeah. Still, no. Now, and Kofokra say I'm also on the album. They thought say I was featuring Daddy Lumba. They thought say Daddy Lumba na I knew and I me bet to be. That wasn't the case at all. It was Ofori Amponsah album, and maybe Daddy Lumba feature on. That should have been the whole thing. But all the same, me and me I'm fighting over all these things, because in the sense Bibia a positive influence, and it had it gave me an exposure when songs and I think say the song I'm on for who said there was somebody else singing was she no day. Shena wana da mi ode, mami sungu mi mu. And so now, welcome on stage, Mr. Ofori. I think that singing was my biggest breakthrough because all the songs, Shemi Boni Adadinyana, it was me alone singing, but people thought it was Daddy Lumba. People thought it was Daddy Lumba singing. So I think say Adia Ho Nkyerɛ the meaning, especially that song, you kind of say, song the title they say cry. And I wanna da mu, and mommy sungu mi mo. How my dream dear my pin. How do you, mommy now so, mamma ninkum, misumye, chami sembe mu bema. So the song was like that song gave a push Ofori Amponsah like more, and that Lumba saying let's welcome on stage Mr. Ofori. Yeah. Then I think that there was a show in the US I call it, and when it comes to the influence that Lumba had on me, especially the album by that time, I got a substantial amount. That time, the 40 million was not easy money, yeah?
40 million?
Yeah, if I say 40 million, I calculating in those times, that is who do about $30,000. It was quite big. What I say? But as a young man, the first thing I make quite because Toyota Camry, 10 million. That time, Toyota Camry was 10 million. So, me three car na it will be that Charlie. That's kind of OJ, then I'll call you. Also, be the quarter Toyota Camry. I don't catch him say. I don't know man kota say. I mean, when it comes to the influence, that maybe can you know? Can you say be a dying crack? Cause I was a kid, I was young, but the influence and man at a very tender age, and I thought about buying plots or building or something. So I thank him so much for that influence on my life. So one day we were sitting down and I'll say, Ofori, what upload them? Say, okay. So that you can say jacuzzi. Say, okay, start moving to the boys' contest. Funny, but I salute him for that because Obi Amamba out fufro. Me da jacuzzi. How would I think? It's the first year, no, because of maybe jacuzzi. Man, meaning you because me that me that bathroom can be hiding until he said, then go to the boys' quarters and sleep there. And when I slept at the boys' quarters, I started thinking. And then I didn't really find my better, you know, ever told, and I thank him so much for that. It was 2 years after I did. I kind of say, Ho Nkyerɛ, you know, it took me like 2 years to sit down and then see what I wanted for my life, you know. So we had a show in America at that time, Yakobo, Apollo Theater, one of the biggest theaters, you know. So and theater hit Yakobo that time at Apollo Theater in the US, New York. And so after a ball show, you know, I just sat down and I decided, said no, Ofori should go solo, you know. And so that was where I made my decision to, you know, to go solo. Yeah, 2002. But near about how a song, you know, it be Odomrefi, how it came about and stuff. Okay, so Odomrefi came out of a rehearsal. I me cousin. The first time I did a rehearsal, and my sisters were laughing at me. So I actually listened to Kojo Nchi. I love Kojo Nchi's music, and I loved Daddy Lumba, and I loved Amachidede. But I think I took a cue from Kojo Nchi when it comes to Odomrefi. The way he sang, the way he did. I had my own style, but I think say Odomrefi came out of the way Kojo Nchi does his things. Yeah, and I don't know who Antiata is in the first place, but Odomrefi, you know, it took about, if I say 5 years before I started maybe Antiata, and I was trying to bring another music, another thing, because now Odomrefi is a very different style, but right now the song was moving towards dancing, you know, so I wanted something danceable. And one day I was just walking and that Antiata chorus fell into my spirit. Antiate, I was in Agogo. So I went, I took my recorder and recorded, so the song came out. That was how Antiata. So Antiata never was a person that I knew. Antiata just came out of nowhere into my spirit, and I wrote it down. So that's how Antiata came. Yeah, we were in Canada. So all Canada, and he told me about a song that he wanted to write called Ho Nkyerɛ, but he put it on the album because he liked the song. I said, okay, then let's go into the studio and do it. So I think it's Canada. There was this guy, I've forgotten his name, somebody P something. So we went to the studio in Toronto and then did that song. So after recording like a ball show, and I don't know, then we just said, so why not go onto the keyboard and then yes, I beat, you know.